A lot of times, like when you are living independent, everybody's meeting their own needs separately. Like you're providing your own protection, your own provision, your own food, your own all of that. And so is she. So I think the idea of when you're coming together, some of those things are handed over to the other person. So now you're not functioning independently at 100% capacity. Like, I may not have to cover my bills anymore. That will become what you do for me. So that's giving up that level of independence that I had to take care of when I was living on my own. In exchange, you were paying for having your meal prep done, maybe having a housekeeper come and clean. And so in exchange,
She
now
still
that
come to
that's what
she still come clean my house now.
I
I ain't stopped that.
well, I'm saying it typically, so then that's what should ideally happen is that where each one of you guys were functioning at 100% capacity individually on your own, taking care of all of your needs. That the idea of coming together is supposed to be that we are both giving up some of those things to the other person. So now we're, I mean, for the lack of a better word, because I know everything is not 50-50, but now I, am alleviating 50% of those tasks that I had to do on my own. And my partner's taking care of that. In exchange, I'm taking on some of the responsibilities that he had to do on his own. And so then that way, now we're, it's still 100% of our needs are being met, but only 50% of the effort is given, if that
And,
makes sense.
and it was so funny. You jogged my memory. It almost sounds like women are saying the same thing as men. It's like that same thing when women say, "Well, what do I need him for? I protect myself. I protect
Exactly.
myself. I do this." It's like two individual people used to doing things for themselves, needing to come together and being able to bring that to make a solid household, just doing it together, and opposed to
Mhm.
doing it independently. Because we're hearing the same thing from both sides. We really are.
That's immediately what I thought of. That's why I said that was weird to me that he said that, because typically you hear a woman saying that. Like if I'm able to provide my own house, my own car, have my own money, what else can you do for me? Because typically those are the things that we associate men being able to provide to women or for women. So that was what made me think of that as well.
You know what I did. I wish I would have uploaded this. I saw a video from 50 Cent, and he said now that he's learned, he prefers an independent woman. He prefers a woman to have her own. He's like, have your own thing going. I'll motivate her, do all this kind of stuff, because he would prefer that. He has more respect for that. If he ever gets in another relationship, he doesn't want anybody who's going to depend on him. He wants her to have her own thing going. And so I thought that was kind of interesting.
With social media, a lot of women have been exposed to male attention in a way that they haven't, like previous generations haven't. Like, regardless of how men generally rate you, there's this understanding that, like, the level of attention you get means that you have more options. I think that's kind of the way that women have kind of learned to function. However, options are only options if they're viable. And I think that's where a little bit of that disconnect is, where women tend to feel like, well, I get all this attention from all of these men, and so I can find somebody better at any point in time. And so they don't really hold the value in the man that they choose. And I think it's really unfortunate because attention doesn't equal somebody better, right? I think the statistics show that women who go that route typically don't do much better for themselves, right? They either stay single for long periods of time or find themselves in more difficult situations. So I think if women can find somebody, and I'm not saying settle, right? Like, let's be very clear about that. But this idea that I'm going to keep looking for somebody after I've found somebody of value, I think is I guess what men complain about when it comes to modern women.
Anybody else want to answer that question before
I
we
was
move?
I was I was really just curious because I just again the circle of guys I know and the circle of guys I've known once I've got out of where, like, growing up from a kid, once I became an adult, all of the men that I've ever met, none of them move the way I hear you ladies talk about, or not just you ladies, but ladies on YouTube in general. Like the way I hear them speak, I'm like, where the fuck do you find these guys? Where
Yeah,
do y'all find them?
you're right.
And I was just curious.
You're right, because you go like little male groups, guys who are similar. They're all cool dudes. They're not like, at least they're not outspoken dogs, because if they're single, they done screwed over somebody. Somebody got it. So we don't know. It's hard to say. Anybody else want to answer that? I just put my little 2 cents in. Okay, so let's go to this video. Hot topic.
Real life over here trying to leave me because I don't want to have sex
you
with
might as
you.
well get out the car. What you mean?
What do you mean?
We
Get
just went
out
on
the
a good
car.
ass date. We just went on a good ass date. Why,
Okay.
Like, why the fuck would you even? Come on, man. Like, you wasting my
Really?
time. I took you
Really?
on like 10 dates.
Really?
You got 2 kids already. You
This
act like you
the
don't want
dude.
to give me
This
love.
the dude I decided to be with.
You can get out.
No, what you mean I can get
You
out?
like you don't want to give
How
me
you
love.
gonna kick me out the car
Because
just because we went on a date? How did I waste your time?
How many
We're
dates do
together.
I gotta take you on for me to be able to get some? You got 2
15.
kids already, but you trying to act like you don't want to give it up to me.
So you think I'm just easy like that?
Man, I'm saying I've been
Look,
putting in
I'm
work.
not even trying. Okay, and you're going to.
Man, listen, you can get out.
I can get out.
Yeah,
you
can get
real
out.
life
Get out
gonna
my
make
car,
me
yes.
walk?
Because you ain't giving me nothing. Get out.
Man,
you
I'm
wasting
not
my
even.
time. Listen,
I'm wasting
I
your
no.
time.
I couldn't even hear no more. I was. It's a hot mess. He finna put it out in the streets on the interstate because they was going pretty fast. I was looking on the outside. It was going by a little bit. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this situation? I think she really liked him. It sounded like I can hear her voice. Like what? Like I thought that she really liked. What y'all think? Let me shut up. Anybody? Everybody's speechless. I'm bush.
No, I'll jump in. I don't know. I guess I'm always fascinated about how, like, this weird thing where, like, if you're doing something wrong or you're making a mistake, then, like, you're beholden to, like, continue to make the same mistake over and over, right? If we're going to tell women to keep their knees together and they've had children and they're like, oh, I made the mistake, not to call children a mistake, but I've should not have offered my womb to somebody I shouldn't have. And now I've learned my lesson and I'm not going to do that anymore. This expectation of like, oh no, now that you've done it, you have to always do it. I think that's such a strange behavior to expect of people, right? And like this idea of like, hey, I'm going to put you out on the side of a freeway because you've decided like, I'm just not that dude to you. I'm curious to men who move like that. Like, does that work for you? Yeah, like, does it work for you? Does it actually convince, like, other than the small minority of women who feel shamed into it, like, do you feel good about pressuring a woman into that? Like, I don't, like, why are we using that tactic? Like, what happened to smooth talking a woman out of her panties? Like, what happened to, like, you know what I mean? That kind of suave game that men put on women to get what they want. Like, I don't understand this level of, like, aggressive behavior. It seems so counterproductive if we're going to look at it from his perspective, right? It's so weird. The whole situation is so weird.
And let me just add something to that, because we don't know if this woman was once married. We're assuming that she's just a baby mama. We don't know if she has kids and she was once married. We don't know any of the situation. She could have kids by the same guy. Maybe they lived together. We don't know the entire situation. But this is my thing, because our people always, luckily I have never come across a man like this. But my question would be, do you even know that? Okay. How do you even know that you measure up to the person she even had kids by? For example, you're assuming that he's the kid, that the dad is in their life, right? And he is of a certain caliber. how do you even know that you are that guy? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I will look at
Man,
you like, you even.
Well, my thing is this. This is why you always have your own money. You go on a date. Like, I mean, you know, my dad,
Like, you know, I got it.
yeah, my dad, you know, taught us that. Like, even, you know, back even in the day when we had used payphones, y'all, some of y'all out there don't even know what that is. But he always like, keep a quarter in your pocket. That there should never be any excuse for you not to contact me if you're out. If you're running late. You know, keep a quarter in your pocket. Same thing with the dating. Always have money on you. So just in case if anything happens, you always are able to find your way home. So in a situation like that, at the first sign that that dude came out his mouth and said that we ain't even going back and
She
forth.
dodged a bullet.
Yeah, we're not even going back and forth with, wow, are you really trying to kick me out? Because we wouldn't have even had to get that far. As soon as that thing came out his mouth, deuces. All right, I got you.
So I think that's tough, right? Because like, what did they say in the video? They'd already been on like 10 dates.
She said
So, like,
2. I thought she said 2.
10.
Oh, she said 10. Oh, I thought she said 2.
No, 10. And so
who cares? It could be 15.
Mhm.
But
that nigga name is KFC. Stop it.
So
they Applebee's with that jacket.
Here's my thing with that, right? Is like at that point, I think it's so easy to say, like, you know, I'd be out. After 10 dates, most women are like emotionally invested in that dude, right? So it's possible that it's possible that she had the means to get out of that situation. But I think her whole thing was like, I don't understand why this is on. She was looking for some sort of understanding that he really wasn't offering her. It was either, you know, put out or get out.
Because I heard words like, I thought we were together. Like I from a female, I listened to her voice and I really think she was feeling the dude, in all honesty. I think that she was.
Well, that's the part I was confused. If she said, I thought we were together, then I don't even know what they're fussing about the sex for. Because I'm thinking if you are together at that point, I don't think sex is an issue.
Not
Somebody
necessarily.
Somebody listening to the homeboys and YouTube entirely too much. Like, first of all, we not gonna get to 10 dates if I ain't smashed. Like, that just sounds crazy. Like, we'd have had conversations, things I'd have did my woo woo, wop wop, hey, yo, let's go. And she'd have been like, oh baby, yeah, let's go. Like, I haven't, like, that shit was weird as hell to me. That was weird as hell. Like, oh, you ain't giving me none. You got to get out my car after 10 dates. Nigga, you stupid if you ain't got it by now.
Well,
your name is KFC.
So I have a question.
Your name is Let's Go Eat.
There's a date to coochie ratio. Like, I mean,
no.
I know that.
Okay.
That's what it
so
sounds
no, and yes, because we men don't want to be used. Like, that's the number one thing. We don't want to be used, and we don't want to feel used.
You don't think a woman is feeling the same
way? Wait. In most cases, when you go out on dates, most dates are paid for by whom? If the dude is doing things the way he's supposed to, the guy. So he likely feels like anytime she calls, they go out, he spends a little bit of money, and he takes her home, and he's feeling some kind of way. If I had to venture to guess, like, we don't have enough context into their relationship, but if I had to guess, that's kind of how he's feeling slightly used.
So let me ask you a question.
So vetting thing. What's the purpose of vetting?
Exactly. So my question, this is the thing that gets me, right? To me, let's just say she gave it, so we know his personality now because we see it. Let's just say she did give it up to him. Do you really think that he's the kind of guy she should have given it up to if she would have gave it to him earlier? Now we can see his true colors. What it sounds like is he was doing it for sex. If she would have given herself up to this man, who probably would have played with her, not dated her with intent or whatever. So in my opinion, she waited it out and dodged a bullet.
So before you answer, I'm going to ask, so this question is going to be to the men. if we are constantly and consistently advocating for women to keep their knees together until they are either in a committed relationship, engaged, or married, right? Because men will vary on what that goalpost is. If that's what we're
It's marriage.
advocating, if that's what we're advocating for, then why is it that this video seems like justified? And I'm not saying that
I,
you're condoning bad behavior. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like we're justifying his fear of being used.
Hold
I
on,
don't. I,
because they never answered my question. What's the date to coochie ratio?
there really isn't one. You fill it out. So for me, I'm just going to
I
talk
think
about
she
me
did a
real.
great job in this
I'm
situation.
I'm I'm just going to talk about me for just to
But
give
you're
some
not this
context.
guy.
I know. Wait. So this is why he's way off. Like if your goal is to smash at some point and you're not going to be in a relationship, you've gone on too many dates. Is the number one thing. Number two thing is, are you not really that smooth? Do you not really know how to dialogue with women? Because at the 10 date mark, if she's really into you, she'd have given you the clues that you need to know, hey, either I'm going somewhere with this chick or I'm just looking to smash, which means he's not being honest with himself if he's trying to convince her by saying, get the hell out of my car because you you're not giving me any. So to answer whom I forget which one of y'all said it, yeah, she kind of dodged the bullet, but at the same time, I don't think he knows how to talk to women.
But
That
even if
that
he did, that's still manipulation. Like it's still her getting played. You understand?
if you know how to talk to women, it is what it is. Like that's part of the game, y'all. I'm like, let's be honest, that's part of the game. That's kind of what dudes do, especially if they're not looking long term. Like we got to be honest about it.
So she won the game. She's figured it out, and she's the one who, at the end, I don't feel sorry for him. I'm sorry. Not the way
I
he
don't either.
behaved. That
But
conversation
like
could have been a lot. Even if he wanted, say, hey, it could have been a politer way to say, look, we've been going on these days, or he could have been
Where
saying,
where do you think this is going? What's the next step? Something like you
so
ain't giving
again,
me none, and I've been on 10 dates. Get out my
like
car.
again, we're talking about it. It sounds like he doesn't know how to talk to women, either to get what he wants or to communicate properly. If he's looking to marry this chick that probably shouldn't even be near the top of his, I can't believe I haven't smashed you. Like you're not smashing me. If I'm looking to marry you, the dialogue is very very different. It is, hey, why are you only calling me when you want to hang out? Like, why can't you just call and say, hey, what's up, baby? What's going on today? How's your day going? Hey, do you need anything from me? I'm going to assume either he doesn't know how to communicate or she's using him, or he just really wants to smash and he's going about it the wrong way. I'd actually probably argue that he doesn't have a lot of positive male figures in his life to help guide him the right way. Like there's so many different variables from the video. He's a goofy ass lame to me. Like I would never have said that or done it. I wouldn't have come to pick you up again. Like I'd have chalked those 10 dates up as an L and kept it moving. That's just me. But we would not have gotten to 10 because I'd have figured your ass out by about 3.
he counted them.
I guess to me that is the point that Inaz was making. You're so at date 3, so it seems like that's the date to coochie ratio by date 3. If you ain't give it to me
If
by
he
date
didn't
3,
want you for real, that sounds like something. If he's only in it for sex, maybe that's the issue.
so date 3 that's the determining factor. We
It's
get
a
to
mental
date
thing.
3, if I ain't get none, then I'm out as a dude.
It's a mental thing. It depends on the chick. Like it really there's so many. So not necessarily. And it could be date 10. It could be. I mean, I'm not gonna wait that long, depending on how quickly the dates went by. Um,
See what I'm saying?
no, but I'm looking for different things though. Like if I'm having conversation and dialogue with you, I'm steering the conversation and dialogue the way I need to steer it to get whatever to achieve whatever goal it is that I've set for our relationship. If that is sex, I'm gonna figure out pretty quick if I'm gonna get that or not from you. And if I'm not gonna get that, then it's easy to move on.
Okay, so
Like
it's really,
like
so
this
what
isn't
you're
a
saying is really based on the dude and his intention. So if your intention on dating this woman is, I just really want sex, I'm not looking for a real relationship, then the date to coochie ratio is by the third date. But if it's somebody that I'm actually interested in, or date 1 through 3, if I
don't
just want the coochie. But if she seems like somebody that I'm really interested in, then I don't mind going on extra dates. But
well,
it's
if I know I have to put in work, like even if coochie is my goal, if I know I gotta put in work to get it, I'm gonna put in the necessary work because the goal that I've set in my head is I'm a tap that ass. And we're patient and we will actually, like, this is the one thing, if y'all remember how I first came in, it was, we need men to stop doing this.
right.
This is the shit that needs to stop. But if my goal coming, for the sake of this conversation, if my goal coming in was to get sex, I'm not gonna play myself, first of all, but I'm gonna fill her out. And if I know that it's gonna take work, I'm gonna put in the work necessary because that's the goal that's set. It's not the date. It's all about, like, it could be the second date, it could be the 50th date, but it's all about the amount of work that I need to put in to, like, that we're filling it out. But I'm not gonna promise you a relationship or nothing ridiculous. I'm gonna, like, I'm gonna let you know what it is, and your job as a female is to let me know what it is, so we can either go on or figure or get on. But I don't think this particular guy probably does not have the necessary skills to be able to communicate with a female to achieve whatever goal he wants. I think all he wanted to do was bang this chick out.
Obviously.
And he was playing a nice guy and figured out it wasn't getting him where he wanted to be. And then he turned into a complete jerk instead of just, like, he'd have been better off taking her home and ghosting her.